in Alexandria, you have the industrial zone El Amriya, but you'll find pharmaceutical companies, you'll find other companies for engineering sector, but the ready-made garment is somehow focused on Burj Al Arab area. Okay. What else do we have?
Port Said. And Port Said.
And of course, Port Said, the biggest area. We are talking about 28 to 30 companies with around 40,000 workers. So it's a huge potential, and they are all exporting. And as per the nature of the free zone, and but it's most of the companies in Port Said, let's say 90% Egyptian companies.
Okay. And it's also ready-made garments and also textiles, or more?
No, ready-made garments.
Just ready-made garments, okay.
Textiles, you will find it, if you are talking about weaving, dyeing, and you will find mostly intensive Ramadan, and then Labur. And because ready-made garments is a dominant category within the textile industry.
Okay. And what about Mahalla?
Look, Mahalla. So I worked there. So that Mahalla is a question mark actually, because Mahalla is, what I can say, is that's okay. It's okay. Mahalla is the origin of the textile industry in Egypt, and you will find in Mahalla that the most strongest companies were used to export a very good quality, and actually this is not the case now. They have a lot of strikes, a lot of troubles, a lot of companies closed, a lot of people lost their jobs, and actually still a question mark. Last two, I don't know if you heard about that or not, but 3 weeks to 1 month ago it was a lot of strikes because the workers would like to have a profit share, and this is because of the private workers syndicates. So so it's a lot of hassles.
But is that strikes for public company workers or private company?
Private, because in Mahalla you'll find only one public.
Okay. And how come they strike in Mahalla that much but not in the other zones?
Because in Mahalla, this is a private. There's an old history of the labor unions. So they are trying to push. Actually, I would say it's spoiled guys. They are not working, and they would like to have a profit share. How come? This is for me. It's not understandable at all. Especially that the economy now. Actually in Mahalla, they have the quality, but the companies are not structured. This is why they couldn't survive. So you have the workers, you have the know-how, you have the skilled workers, as I said, but you don't have the rational management who kept the development of their companies and their organizations. So I don't know if you went there or not, but if
probably will go there one day.
I think you will see it's really became in a poor conditions. The companies, it's not an industrial zone with the definition of industrial zone. Okay, so this is why they couldn't survive. And I see that because while I was working with World Bank, we used to develop and train the workers there in the companies to assess the needs and to train them. And actually, most of the workers, they already had the skills like from generation to generation. But actually, the management there, the owners of the companies, they are from very old schools, old management styles, and actually they are not adapting at all. And even you find, really it's in a poor situation. I think when you will go there, you will realize this easily. Okay. And now, actually, I would say that the textile industry in Egypt, I think it's dead. Because you have the Turkish and you have the Chinese products, very cheap and accepted level of quality. Some of the Chinese product, of course. You have another dimension because we have now the Syrian refugees. So they are very clever in that regard. So they started to have their own startups. So it's like a replacement in the market. And they are supported by UNHCR or any others.
And they do textiles or also garments?
Both. So they have weaving and they have ready-made garments. But actually, they are more clever with weaving, more than the ready-made garments, because weaving, it's like an empty market. So any weaving company will come and to produce good quality, then they will dominate the market share.
Okay.
Because the competition is not from the competition coming from outside, but if you will have a good
company,
good national company with reliable quality, then it will make a huge difference.
So are Syrian refugees allowed to work?
Syrian refugees are not treated in Egypt like refugees.
Okay.
So they can work, they can establish their own businesses, they can do each and everything. And they became part of our life.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So it's also the Syrians who would create the companies?
A lot.
Okay.
Because the rich ones who came with their money, of course, not the poor ones. And because Syrians, they are working like family business, so they are working together. So, I mean, they are in a better position.
So where do they start their companies? Are they clustering in a certain area, or is that...
No, they are not
everywhere?
Everywhere. I mean, in Egypt, we don't... segregated groups are not welcome. I mean...
Okay.
خلي زي ما هو.
Okay, I think, and these there are also some industrial zones in Upper Egypt, but there's not textile garments.
There is no industrial zones in Upper Egypt. You have structures, but we don't have industrial zones.
Okay.
And if anybody will say something different, he definitely didn't go there.
So
or
just on paper.
Structures.
Okay.
Of structures. Because I suffered there, and even with this project, I said we will not work in Upper Egypt because job quality has nothing to do with Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt doesn't have private sector. Doesn't have companies.
What do they have?
Any other business, but not manufacturing business.
Okay.
And the companies who try to survive, they close it.
Okay, so then we covered Greater Cairo, Mahala, Port Said, Alexandria, and that's about Suez? No. Suez
is, we find the oil industry, we find pure engineering industry, we find only one company for ready-made garments, which is part of MP Group, and I mean, it's it's a poor company.
Well, this is
and they don't have auditing, and of course, and if you see the HR managers, you can realize that they are doing anything, but not a proper one.
This is actually another question I had. Like, we saw some companies now I visited some companies which have like an HR manager, some have like a personnel administration person, and some who don't have anything like that.
There is no benchmarking.
Okay. So what is the regular case? What do they usually have?
We don't have a regular case. Personal affairs is a regular case.
It's the regular
especially
case,
with companies with labor, with intensive labor numbers, so it's personal
affairs. Okay. And the HR function is very rare. No?
Exactly.
Like the one we just talked to. Okay. And then another question I had, also from reading, but how it's actually the case, like the different association, training, research institutes around there. We touched that in the second interview today. He said because the Industrial Modernization Center, for example, it's still there on paper, but it
closed because of a lot of corruption, but they cannot get rid of it because it was established based on a decree signed by the President Mubarak and EU. So they cannot cancel it because this will create a lot of hassle with EU and will deny a lot of money will come, for example, for TVET reform and. So they freeze it.
Okay. So which associations or training centers or what is actually there? What is
now it's an offer situation because you can seek private companies for development or donors.
Okay.
And donors are using private companies or developing teams.
Private consulting companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So.
But here you don't have subsidy.
Okay, for company development there's no offer, and for like you have the investor associations which facilitate.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Not okay. But for HR trainings or for
very rare.